Hey there, everyone. I am Grant Giralvi. At this point, I figured I'd go ahead and make an introductory video since I've been posting some videos for a couple years now over COVID without ever doing an introduction and kind of giving my background. Like I said, I'm the voice behind the scenes. I'm an associate professor at the University of Arkansas in the Department of Sociology and Criminology, and I just finished my sixth year, honestly, a week ago. This past week was kind of an introductory to summer for me. With that, over summer, it's a great time for me to catch up on writing, research, projects galore. With that, I'll be posting more videos that are much more aligned with some of the research sites and some of the research projects I have going on, just to make it a bit easier that way to kill two birds with one stone kind of mentality. With that, this channel truly started over COVID. I was already making a bunch of videos since everything moved online remote related to stats, social data analysis, secondary data analysis, and spatial that I figured at this point, why not make it publicly available? I view where I'm at now as a product of my ability to Google, find things, learn from other people. So I wanted to post anything that I was creating for students already and just make it publicly available through YouTube. By no means am I a video expert. I've warned in many of the videos that I do not edit, I do not listen to them after the fact. I just post them, and then every now and then when there's an issue or somebody lets me know, I'll re-record and update it accordingly because of that. But truly, I spend a ton of time watching other videos, reading materials to learn something new. So I want to just pass that along. If any tips, tricks, how-tos I post are helpful for others, that's kind of the general gist of it. I also view it as the educational costs and everything associated with it is growing exponentially. So at this point, it might as well make some free materials as a whole. With that, I've mentioned in a couple of the videos, a colleague and I, Katie Ratcliffe, are in the process of making some open education resource textbooks. One's going to be on data analysis, primarily in Excel, so a lot of the Excel how-tos and getting your hands on with that when you don't have a background at all. And then that's going to be followed up with a spatial analysis one, primarily using Excel, some in Google, and then Arc Pro GIS, layering in and doing some joining videos also with QGIS, the open source one, truly trying to make this data process in terms of crime analysis, crime science, a bit more transparent and open to the public and people around the world to use and kind of gain and improve on their skill sets. With that, a bit on my background, my college experience and everything with that's heavily criminal justice. I actually started college on a sports scholarship, messed up my knee again, so then I transferred universities and ended up completing my undergrad and master's at Southern Illinois University at Carbondale. My bachelor's was in administration of justice with a minor in forensics. Then my master's was in criminology and criminal justice. I actually started out in construction management and then architecture, and then during the recession didn't think this was a great idea to be going into a construction field, not knowing how the US was going to bounce back. So I ended up switching over to criminology, criminal justice. With that, I never planned on graduate school at all. I had a professor pull me aside and kind of just ask me my plans post-graduation. And that was Nick Casaro over at Cincinnati now. And truly, I wouldn't be where I'm at now without having a professor pull me aside and just ask me my plans post-undergrad. I never expected it, never had idea of what to do in graduate school or what a master's would get me and kind of anything with that. During my master's, though, I did complete an internship with the Illinois State Terrorism Intelligence Center and was fascinated by the side of crime intel analysis and having that experience. I never took a lot of classes within spatial analysis at all. I lucked out during my master's, and Jim LeBeau offered a course in spatial analysis that I took. That's the only true crime analysis, spatial analysis with crime data that I've ever took. During my PhD, which I did at University of Arkansas at Little Rock, I took an earth sciences, geosciences type class, which I learned a lot of cool skill sets that I could apply to social data, but not truly a social data analysis spatial type of course. With that, like I just mentioned, finished up my PhD. Didn't really even plan on doing a PhD at the time. I was applying to jobs and I kind of got the best advice of if a PhD is not for you, you also know you have job offers out there. So kind of decided last minute to do a doctoral program, ended up at Little Rock, did a dissertation on recidivism and truly trying to look at the neighborhood community context, ideally with trying to combine the risk of opportunity, criminal opportunities at a neighborhood level, trying to expand that a bit more. After that, I figured I didn't have enough educational training, so I did a postdoc up at Rutgers with the Department of Psychology with Paul Boxer, and then at the School of Criminal Justice with Joel Kaplan and Les Kennedy. Did a lot of cool work up there within Jersey City and crime reduction based on a couple different initiatives up there in Jersey, and been working with them off and on over the years. But now in the last 6 years, been focusing on trying to expand what I do here in Arkansas and trying to do a lot of work locally. That's why you see a lot of my videos are centered on Little Rock. Yes, I did my PhD there for 4 years, but it's still, if you look at Little Rock in terms of occurrence of crime compared to other cities, it's a high violent, even property crime as well. So there's a lot of crime going on, and it's close to home. Spent many years there. I want to give back to that area as well. Still have some research projects going on, but I made contacts over the years there, so it's a nice, worthwhile experience. They're doing a lot of innovative things from a city perspective that hopefully we can tap into and start to evaluate some of their projects. But overall, that's kind of my background outside of academia and kind of my interest in crime analysis, spatial analysis, and just really spatial data as a whole. You can't see them. They're both passed out right now, but you've probably heard them in my videos. I have 2 dogs. I have a 14 to 15-year-old lab mix named Jetta, who I adopted through Arkansas Paws in Prison. So she was a rescue dog. People in prison trained her, and then I adopted her back in 2012. And then I have a just over 1-year-old Western Siberian Lyka by my side. You probably see his tail when he walks around, named Gambit after the X-Men. But got him as a pup, and it's the joyous process of trying to still get him fully trained. With that, you can also see my sweet Lego sets that I have behind me. I have a bunch of Star Wars ones here and a bunch of other just botanical garden ones, all sorts of them. I think it's a nice hobby of mine that I picked up over COVID. Puzzles weren't the thing for me, so I ended up doing the Lego side. A bit more expensive, but keeps me entertained. I do have some in my actual office. Obviously, you can see I'm in my home office. Hopefully, at some point that will change, and I'll take my desktop setup back to campus. But I do enjoy having a window here, so we'll see how that goes. Other than that, this channel is really dedicated to trying to make open access material for students, the public as a whole. I do take requests, so if you have ideas or questions, shoot me an email. I'm decent at getting back to emails. It depends on how busy I am at any given point. If I do respond and then you don't hear from me for like a week or two, I don't mind a follow-up email. I honestly might have forgot about it. I have my memory over COVID's kind of diminished a little bit. I have to-do lists, as you can see my whiteboard behind me, but I kind of have that all layered up. But I do try to get to things. I don't mean to push anything off. So if you see anything that you'd like a little assistance on, let me know. But overall, this channel is really meant to just help the public. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out. But with that, this video is even longer than I imagined. Take care. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If not, until next time.